Okay, so today we're going to talk about Blood Creek, a 2009 direct-to-video horror film. Why Blood Creek? Why now in 2016? Well, why not? Blood Creek was an interesting film because it was a movie that was released on home video, released on DVD, kind of at the end of the home video rental scene, when video rental stores like Hollywood Video was just dying completely, and Blockbuster Video, the Blockbuster train was coming to a stop. But Blood Creek got a release. I saw it on the shelves of I believe it was Hollywood Video that I saw, the signature rows and rows of the new releases. Remember we used to go into a video store and you'd see the rows of Titanic and the rows of... Young kids are never going to have this experience of going into a video store and seeing like the rows and rows and rows of these releases. Made it feel important, made it feel big. Wow, there's so many copies of this stuff. You can't see. There's not rows and rows of stuff on Netflix or iTunes or the Amazon, whatever. But you'd go into these physical stores and they'd have these physical tapes or DVDs or Laserdiscs or Blu-rays or whatever. And there'll be rows and rows of the new releases. And Blood Creek was there, and I saw that cover art, the cover art of the back of the ghoul's head. And I was like, yeah, it's very interesting, but it looked kind of, like a cheap. It looked like a low-budget type horror movie. And, very recently, within the past year or so, I was like, I was doing a search, something, Blood Creek came up. And then I realized it was directed by Joel Schumacher, the great Joel Schumacher, the great director of The Lost Boys and all those great other films. And it stars Henry Cavill, who is Superman now, and Fassbender. Fassbender, who is Steve Jobs and from Inglourious Bastards and what have you. And so I finally got around to watching it, and is it an underrated, unheralded horror classic? Not really. It's a very good-looking movie. It has some actually good performances. It has some, great look to it. It looks and sounds great. Some great performances, but I think the failure is a really muddled storyline, a really muddled film where it feels like either something that was half written, rewritten on the spot, or there are some scenes just missing. So anyway, the film begins, and the way the film begins, you're like, my God, where have I been? That I have not seen this film yet, because the opening of the film is incredible. Opening of this film is this prologue, this sepia-toned prologue from 1936, taking place in rural West Virginia on a farm where these German immigrants have settled in this rural farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere. And they get a letter from the Third Reich that there is this important German occult researcher played by Fassbender who is going to be staying with them, and they're going to pay for this guy's rent for an exorbitant fee, and he wants to study the ancient rune stones that this family has uncovered on this farm. And so Fassbender gets there, and very quickly we realize that these rune stones play into this ancient occult research that this guy has been doing about reanimating dead life and conjuring demons and bringing things back to life, controlling life. Apparently it takes a lot of blood. So that's the beginning. The beginning of the film, as I said, it's scope cinematography and sepia tone and beautiful looking. And then we flash forward to the present day where Henry Cavill is this EMT worker. And it's this shaky cam, horrible scene where he's trying to save someone's life, and somebody's at a hostage situation at a mobile home and meth lab, and there's an explosion. And it's like, oh my God, this is just this is not good, you know. So the next scenes that we get with Henry Cavill are in very quick succession, very confusingly set up this plot of this EMT worker who is taking care of his infirmed father, and apparently Henry Cavill had a brother, and he was in the army, and he went to Iraq, and then Henry Cavill didn't go to Iraq, and there's tension in the family, and then this Henry Cavill's brother, played by Dominic Purcell, mysteriously disappeared on a camping trip. And this exposition is fused in this very quick scene with that I think most people, I think you'd have to watch the scene 2 or 3 times, because we have some terse, very difficult to understand dialogue between the father and Henry Cavill, and then Henry Cavill sees a picture of his brother's army outfit, and then there's a flash to a newspaper article about the disappearance, and then Henry Cavill, the great guy, goes and visits the family of his brother that he's taking care of. Kind of, he has the kids. Again, all this stuff is things that I've put together by watching the scene multiple times and reading stuff about it. It's almost impossible to get this kind of. It feels like there are scenes in this film which feel like they feel like they're 3 scenes, and it feels like either they cut the scenes because of budget or time or whatever, or they rewrote them to have all of this stuff just compressed into one scene. It's very confusing. And this film makes you work way too hard for being like a low-budget horror film. It just makes you work way too hard. So what happens here is Henry Cavill's brother, played by Dominic Purcell, again, another kind of, action movie role, he mysteriously appears in the night and says, "Hey, Henry Cavill, we've got to go and grab some guns, and we're going to paddle down a creek." I guess that's where the creek is. How the Blood Creek doesn't really make sense in this movie. Then we're going to go paddle down the creek because I was kidnapped by this family who lives in a farmhouse, and I'm going to go and kill them all for no, And so Henry Cavill is okay. I love my brother. I'm just gonna go run down with him. And it's never really explained how the fuck the brother disappeared. And there's this ridiculous dream sequence. It's a shaky, blurry, out of focus cam. Oh, Henry Cavill looks like a fucking retard. He fucking lost his brother in like a little 2 foot of water. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. He looks like a total ridiculous. So they go to this farmhouse, and it then very quickly develops into a siege film, where we realize that the German family from the prologue has now been kind of enslaved by the Michael Fassbender, the occult researcher, who has now become kind of more human than human, and he becomes a real cool villain. Yeah, he has been able to extend his life and kind of freeze the life of the German family, so they haven't aged in 60 or 70 years. They're the same age. For no reason. Again, it's not really explained. It's never really explained why they have to keep him here, why he's being in prison. But it seems like they're in prison and they can't leave. And they built a fence around the farm with these symbols that keep the demon out. And so basically, Dominic Purcell, Henry Cavill, and the German family get stuck in this farmhouse with this demon outside them who's trying to get in, and this demon can reanimate dead people, dead animals, and turn them into these kind of gauzy-eyed, demons, demonically possessed living dead things that go and try to kill the people inside the house. So it becomes kind of a siege film.
with shades of Night of the Living Dead, with shades of maybe Demon Knight, that type of stuff. With reanimated demons that kind of reminded me of, they're really dirty and sweaty and that messed up. They're really good. They remind me of Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, that type of look, you know. And Michael Fassbender is this guy. He transforms himself. He's wearing this like black leather somewhere between like the Matrix and a Cenobite and Hellraiser. You know, Fassbender could do an incredible Pinhead, I'm sure. And you know, Fassbender, if you've seen him in his roles from Steve Jobs to Inglourious Basterds, this is a hell of an actor, man. This is a guy who uses his physicality and everything he's got in order to portray these roles. And the role he plays in this film is this character who is often seen in just silhouette in the dark, and just this guy in black leather with you know, this incredible makeup on that is just this. He just cuts quite a figure in the night, and it's a really incredible performance, you know, and really in some ways iconic. I mean, just really great. The problem is that what he's doing doesn't really kind of make a lick of sense. I mean, in a very simple way it does, but then we get into the German family. The young daughter of this German family has, in the prologue we see her kind of striking up a relationship with the Fassbender character, and then she has read his books and she knows how to kill him, and then she provides the exposition and the answer how to kill him. But it never really adds up, and the mechanics of how he's being kept there. Are they kidnapping people? Who are they? You know, there's so many interesting ideas to ponder, and it's not a film where, like, they keep it vague, but it's kind of like you can figure it out, and it's vague. It makes it more mysterious. No, it just makes it more confusing. It just seems like there's a lot of stuff. It just feels like, I don't know anything about this film, the production of this film, the financing. I think it was shot in Bulgaria or Romania. I don't think it was shot in the U.S., so it may have been. I don't know. I don't know a lot about this movie. It just feels like there are chunks of this film that are missing, that were either not shot, or they were shot and they were cut, or it seems like all the info is there, but it seems like at some point they either took things out and then just compressed it into like one or two scenes of like characters madly dashing off exposition. Oh, we got a bone suit, and it's just ridiculous. It's a film that makes you work way too hard to really understand the whole thing. I think if you just check your brain at the door and you're just kind of like, you're not really focusing on really what's going on or motivation or anything, you could follow the film through. It's a very easy watch, I guess, in some ways. You know, I mean, it kind of, I guess it kind of evolves and kind of moves from that aesthetic that, you know, Joel Schumacher directed 8mm. And that's a film about ugly things and ugly, dark secrets and people with dark secrets and things like that. And so you know, that kind of, those ideas and that aesthetic and that look kind of maybe funnels a little bit into Blood Creek. Blood Creek looks like a great film. I mean, it looks like a Hollywood director. I mean, Joel Schumacher, you know, over 30 years of experience in making Hollywood films, and the movie looks like that. It doesn't look like it's a low budget movie. It looks like a nice film. I mean, it's really a one location movie primarily. So, but that location, you know, you've got crane shots, you've got beautiful scope cinematography, beautiful makeup effects, and the monster in this film, the Fassbender, he goes through a number of transformations. He doesn't look all the same. The ending thing, he looks like this white demonic, you know, character, really kind of a Cenobite-like creature. really incredible. So it looks great, soundtrack, great score, and overall the acting is great in it. I think Henry Cavill and I mean, of course, the Fassbender is like this guy who you could see in. If the film had been positioned correctly, they could have done, 2 or 3 films. This could have been like a Freddy Krueger type creature, or a Wishmaster or a Jeepers Creepers. I mean, really, it has that idea of like, okay, this could be like a little mini Jeepers Creepers stuff. And the character almost kind of is like the Creeper in that he's kind of this dark character, but without the humor of the Creeper. In Jeepers Creepers 2, this guy is like, he is, he follows in the tradition of those, very, very serious villains. I doubt Michael Fassbender would want to do, more than one of these, but still, it could have been that, that type of thing. But I think it's just undone by the story. The story is just something happened. Something happened. It feels like something happened at this point. As I say, I don't really know a lot about the movie. The movie was released on DVD in the U.S. with a commentary track. I assume if you listen to the commentary, you probably find out a lot about the movie. Never released on Blu-ray. Has not been released on Blu-ray in the U.S. There is I believe, a Region 2 Blu-ray release of this that you can even purchase on Amazon in the U.S. as an import, but I don't know, it's just one of those movies that kind of fell through the cracks. It was one of those movies, really, like in the circa, 2006, 2009, 10, even now, there are films that are just, they come in on DVD and they do high definition streaming, but they don't get a physical Blu-ray release, which is a shame in the case of Blood Creek, because it really is a beautiful, good-looking movie that deserves to be seen in high def. Oh, yeah. Definitely deserves to be seen in high def because it's genuinely a good-looking movie. As I say, if you check your head at the beginning, if you check your brain out, and you just go, okay, this is a succession of gore scenes, action scenes, stuff going on to appeal to the eye, then yeah, it works. It's good. It looks better than most horror films. It's directed by frickin' Joel Schumacher. The Joel Schumacher. But otherwise, not a lot going on, and the plot just doesn't make sense. There's just parts of the film that just, when you start thinking about the mechanics of how they keep this monster, as much as you might think Jeepers Creepers doesn't make any sense, this film makes way much less sense than Jeepers Creepers. Way much less. Is that even way less? Anyway, but it's got a good poster, it's got a good villain, and it's worth a watch.